All right, guys, so we just got off of Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. So these are fresh opinions, fresh thoughts. So just right off the bat, I think it's just a way cooler version of Space Mountain with a Guardians of the Galaxy overlay on it. It feels like it when you're inside the main show building. Lots of stars, obviously in the dark. Can't really see the track, but you have that Omni-Mover vehicle that's moving you around in all different directions, facing you towards show screens and props, things of that nature. If you do have motion sickness, I would not ride this ride. I can have it very minorly sometimes, and I did feel it a little bit, so I would just kind of stay away from that. If you do have motion sickness, though, it's definitely worthwhile to go through the queue. So I thought the queue was really cool. It had some really neat Easter eggs from around Epcot, from the history of Epcot, and then also from the Guardians movies. So definitely worth a look there. It's obvious they spent their money on certain things there, and there's a few things that maybe feel like they had to cut, because of budget. But you guys can see all the walkthroughs and the media videos of the attraction on other channels. So I'm not going to provide that here, mostly because they don't let you record past a certain room. But very, very neat queue. I will say that once you get out of the transport room, which is where you're transported to the Star Cruiser, which is where you get onto the roller coaster, there is a hallway that takes you from that room to the loading area, and it is quite a traffic jam in there. So just be ready once you get out of the transport room to be waiting for a little while in kind of a big long cattle corral. But once you get up there to the loading zone, it's really neat, very massive, well themed. There's 2 different tracks, loads pretty efficiently, and just the theming throughout is just really, really neat. And I'm somebody that is not even a huge fan of the Guardians of the Galaxy series. Again, though, the ride itself you can watch on a lot of other channels, but I really feel like the people that were saying that it's like a much better version of Space Mountain were right on. You'll go in there and you'll feel like there's a lot that's familiar, but then you have these huge, massive screens and props, in the show building. The show building's huge. That really add an extra dimension to it, I guess, that space doesn't have. And so they did a great job with it. I would say the storyline is maybe a little bit hard to follow along with. It's pretty simple. Something gets stolen. The Guardians come in to save the day. You help the Guardians do that, and then they applaud you at the end. So, I mean, that's basically the storyline. But again, I do think that this warrants the people that are saying that it's one of the better rides at WDW now. It is. I'm somebody that's ridden all the roller coasters here and also over at Universal, and I would say that this is different than any of the other ones. Jurassic World Velocicoaster is probably the most thrilling still. It is the most thrilling still, along with the Hulk over there. I would say that this, from a thrill perspective, is probably somewhere just a small level below Rock and Roller Coaster. If somebody's looking for a comparison from a thrill perspective. So basically, you're looking at a theme perspective, Space Mountain, a thrill perspective, a little bit of a level below Rock and Roller Coaster. It doesn't go upside down, doesn't invert, anything like that. But it is windy, it is twisty. There's not any major drops. So if you're somebody that's afraid of drops, there's really not anything to be worried about so much there. But lots of winds, lots of turns. Because it's in the dark, you can't necessarily always see where you're going. Sometimes you can. I rode it on row 2, and I felt like that was a good place to ride. Obviously, like with most coasters, it's probably more thrilling towards the back, and you get a little bit better view of the action sometimes towards the front. But interesting thing to note is that when you go on the launch, because you are launching backwards, you start out in a different location than you end. So at least once you get to the launch point, you do. So just because you start in one car order doesn't mean that's where you are the entire way through. So anyway, if you guys have any questions, leave them down in the comments. We'll get back to you on that. But I think this is a great ride. I like how they married the Wonders of Xandar Pavilion in with Epcot and their edutainment and the pavilions that they have here. I think that makes this attraction make more sense in this park. And I also like the fact that it's over here kind of in the space area, over by Mission Space, and then also Space 220 restaurant. It's definitely an appropriate place for it to be, not far from Spaceship Earth, obviously also. So it's a ride that Epcot definitely needed. They didn't have anything that was, super thrilly. And this isn't super thrilly, but this is thrilly. I would definitely say it's a thrill ride. But it is a thrill ride that I would say most families would be okay riding, unless you just have a family that just prefers dark rides and things of that nature. In which case, this might be a little bit too intense for you. But again, if you can handle a ride like Hollywood Tower of Terror, you can handle this, as long as you don't have anything against roller coasters. I would say it's kind of on that same thrill level, and from a theming perspective, probably pretty comparable as far as the extremities of the theme as well. So anyway, really good addition to the park. I think the Imagineers did a great job. It, for the most part, didn't feel cheap, didn't feel like they had cut a whole lot of budget, felt pretty grand, and I think it's going to be a really popular ride for a long time. So I had to get the 1 o'clock boarding group today. I did not get the one this morning, as hard as we tried, but no problem getting one at 1. Of course, was hitting the refresh button right at 1. So just know that you're gonna have to make some attempts. I would recommend having you and your family members attempt at the same time, and just be hitting that button just as soon as the clock flips over to 7 a.m. or to 1 p.m. It has to be the exact second, otherwise you might miss out. So anyway, that is our quick first recount of Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind right after the ride. Again, if I have some more thoughts, I'll put them down in the comments as well. But feel free to ask any questions you might have. Hope you guys have a great night. Thanks for following us along, and if you're not subscribed already, please go ahead and do so. Thanks. Bye-bye.